Good evening. The man who helped rescue the train driver in yesterday's fatal level crossing crash has recalled the moment he found him buried beneath the rubble. Mick McGuigan spoke as investigators scoured the wreckage at the site. Alexis Daish is there this evening. Alexis, the clean-up could take some time.
Alicia, it's a major task ahead for Metro. So far, 2 carriages have been lifted back onto the track to be towed away, with the third one about to be moved any minute now. The crews will then return here tomorrow morning, where they'll continue clearing the wreckage, but it could be another week before the train services get back up and running.
Rescue teams worked through the night. Their first priority, making sure no passengers were still trapped.
We've been able to lift the carriage of the train that was on its side, and we've been able to satisfy ourselves that there were no other victims.
Crash investigators stayed at the scene while teams continued clearing. With metal strewn everywhere and access so limited, it wasn't until this afternoon that they began moving carriages.
So we're really going to have to rebuild this track. In terms of timing, it's going to take us about 5 days to do that work, to rebuild the track once the train has been moved.
The train driver, a 30-year-old man from Gisborne, remains at the Alfred Hospital.
Our driver's in a serious condition. He remains in an induced coma.
Mick McGuigan has been credited with saving his life, finding him buried under the rubble.
So I started digging through all the dirt and found his head. By the time we dug him out, we realised he was breathing and he was sort of semi-conscious.
Before finding the train driver, Mick led a full search of the wreckage, scouring the inside of the train and underneath the tipped carriage, confronted with what he described as a war zone.
It looked like a bomb had got off in there.
The 69-year-old truck driver from Narre North has been interviewed by police. No charges have yet been laid. Alexis Daish, 9 News.
The crash has raised questions about whether enough is being done to remove Melbourne's notorious level crossings. The RACV says both the state and federal governments need to commit to removing 5 crossings every year to improve commuter and driver safety. More from Andrew Lund.
Yesterday's crash horrified politicians at all levels of government.
A tragedy like this, no one wants to happen.
With more people using our roads and railways, the RACV is calling for action to remove level crossings to help reduce the risk of accidents.
We need an ongoing program to make sure we get rid of at least, say, 5 a year for the next 10 years as a good start, and then an ongoing program to eradicate those level crossings, that more than 170 crossings in Melbourne.
The state government has committed funds to remove 5 level crossings by 2014, 1 at Springvale, 2 at Mitcham and 2 more at St Albans as part of the regional rail project.
The challenge is being met and the additional resources are being put in place.
But at Brighton, some residents are questioning the wisdom of plans to reopen the controversial New Street crossing.
It'd be silly to open this. I mean, this is a death trap waiting to happen.
The government spent $2 million investigating how to separate the road and rail line, but despite advice from rail experts, it's committed to installing automatic gates and returning the road to cars.
This is an election commitment that was made prior to the election, and this is, I think, an outcome that the community in that area wanted.
The big barrier to removing level crossings and stopping accidents like this is the cost. It's been suggested the government may need to consider a property levy or selling off development rights above rail tracks to help pay for the necessary upgrades. The opposition is calling for a bipartisan approach to the issue.
To sit down with Labor and see what can be done to address the concerns around level crossings.
Sadly, at Dandenong, it's already too late. Andrew Lund, 9 News.